You are listening to I'm Refocused podcast with your host, Shemaiah Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune into today's podcast.
Hey guys, this is I Am Refocused podcast. We are here on Thursday, Rockefeller's Barbershop. Shout out to Rico Rodriguez, the owner. Today we have a returning guest, Pastor Alex Fleming of Life Restored Church. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, doing good, man. Thanks for having me again.
So we had you on last time, and you're doing so much in the community with the homeless. And we just want to just start out this first half of the show. Catch us up. What's been going on at your church?
So now, from the last time, we're serving way more. We're serving 500 meals a week to the homeless. We still have our showers going on, about 200 showers a month. We've had, in 3 years now, we've had 15 homeless get saved, get jobs, get off of the street and into a place of their own. So, we've really seen the strategy of tree transition and ending homelessness, really coming to fruition with the end game being to end homelessness, not just to feed. It's been going pretty good, man.
And tell us a little story of the people the success story of them transitioning, getting back to work, and not going back to being homeless.
Yeah, so one guy, Mike, he came from the winter shelter. That's how he heard of us, and a lot of people hear about us through that, and they come and we build relationships. And so he was coming for a while, and then when you come, you start serving Sunday mornings consistently, and that's when we see okay, these guys want something more than just food or clothes or a shower. So we started investing in them, and so he got he started applying, man. He got a job at McDonald's, and then he kept on applying, and then he got a job as a security guard for some sort of bank or something like that. And so he came and he had his whole uniform on, and he's like, man, and he was crying, man. He was crying, and because he had the keys to his apartment. And so we were like, man, we were just blessed to see that, and to have that happen. And then another couple, same thing, man. A lot of times it's just a few little things that they need, whether it's an ID or something like that, but they can't get it because there's no hope. So what we do, with what our team does is, man, we're loving on them, reminding them that they're human again. Society and institutions dehumanize them. And so when we're putting that love of Christ that brings hope, now they realize, wow, how simple it is just to get this card or make this next step, and they do it on their own. And, they get jobs and they're off the street, and even when they're working, they're still coming to church, still coming to the things we have, and then boom, they get their place. And hope, we must never underestimate the power of hope, man. It's something that everybody can give, but we just underestimate it way too much, and it does so much.
And the theme I see is you're not just giving them hopeful words, but you're giving them actual building blocks to take action and start the process of not just healing, but turning the page and starting a new chapter in your life.
Yeah, and then hope for us is founded in Christ, right? So that coming to church, when they're eating, we're talking with them, we're praying with them, all of that stuff, man, is just, instead of being injecting heroin in their veins, now hope is being injected into their veins, and they just start coming alive, man. And you see them smiling, you know what I mean? Like smiling. It's rare to see somebody on the street smiling who always has to look over their back if somebody's going to jack them, somebody's calling the cops on them, they're going to have to run. So when you see them smiling, we don't take that for granted. We know that that's something rare. And when you look in the whole house and there's a lot of people smiling, something, a movement is happening, a movement of the Spirit of God is happening in their life. So
it's a sense of release as well, because they're in a sense being released from those situations, because a lot of times we carry unnecessary weight with us.
Yes.
And it's like, no, just let go. What are some of the processes as they are going through the volunteering? Because like you were saying, if they're real serious and they want to make a change, they start volunteering as well.
Yeah.
What's some of the process of them actually getting approved and starting that process?
So you come Sunday morning and help set up the church. That's open for everybody. You come Sunday morning, you help set up the church 6 months straight, 4 to 6 months consistently. Boom. Now you can help serve at a breakfast. Boom, you're doing that. Now you can help serve in the clothes closet and with the showers. And so that's the process as far as like, okay, the next level. But if you're like 6 months in, 4 months in on the Sunday morning, that we don't wait till you get to this. We're already starting to see, okay, man, what do you need? Some people just need a bus card. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing holding you back. That's it. Yeah. If I could just get over there, man. Okay. Here, and so it's a case by case because everybody's different. Yeah. Some people have everything. Yeah. They just don't have the hope and the motivation to go out and do it. So we will work with them differently, speaking words of life, prophesying over their life. No, you can do it, man. You are God's child. Like, man, I mean, those messages like that, I can't say enough, make all the difference in the world. Some people don't have cars, so we give them a bus card, their IDs. We give them that. It's fun. It's hard, but it's so simple. Yeah. It's hard, but it's so simple. You would think like, okay, how is this homeless person going from here to going from here? And man, it all goes back to, dude, just love somebody. Yeah. Just love somebody. It's like a kid that grows up in a home, a loving home. They have a level of confidence, and you have a kid that grows up in a dysfunctional home. They have a level of watching out, fearful. You know what I mean? When's the next slap coming? Man, how are you going to go forward when you're always having to look back? Yeah. Always having to watch your back. How are you going to go forward? Yeah. And I understand you have to be aware, but sometimes we're watching our back just because it was part of the way we grew up and there's nothing really there. And that's why we're not getting forward, So it's that same principle. Once again, man, loving them, praying with them. You cannot underestimate the power of prayer and all the dark strongholds. So now you get into a spiritual realm. So you can't counsel that. You can't, you know what I mean? What is it called? Psychiatry, whatever that, you can't do that. Like, no, this is a spiritual battle now. Yeah. So now we need prayer and we need to break something to get that breakthrough. We need to break that chain, those shackles off of you spiritually. Yeah. Now, all overnight, they're running like, man. And I think God has it like that because we can't take too much credit. You know what I mean? It'd be different, so it's almost to where we have somewhat of this plan, but it's not like, okay, bam, 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 bam. It's like we have somewhat of a plan and the rest is God. And so that's the only way we could explain it,
And that's true because also you are a church doing this. And
yes.
What has been the reaction of people coming in need who are facing homelessness? Are they open right away to being part of this church program? Or is it something they have to warm up to?
Well, see, and it's not even portrayed as a program. They just come to church like, this is my church. You know what I mean? So half of our congregation is homeless. We're about like 100 people. Half are homeless, half are not. And they just come to church and they, they're part of our church. So I heard this one guy, a homeless guy, say, and he's like, it's true what they say on the street. It's true. I was like, what's that? That he says, when you come in here, everybody's equal.
That's good.
And so that was a blessing to me. Like, because we're talking, we're engaging like, man, like, just like a normal, like, dude, you are a normal person, and we just talk and shoot the breeze outside before church. Okay, let's get in. Boom. And so, they love it. They call us the Pancake Church and because we started off serving pancakes, on Saturdays. And, it's not like a check-in type of thing. It's more of a
It's more
family, like a real church.
Yeah.
You know, like we're coming to church, bam. You know, so we do have to guard the restrooms, though. That's the only thing that probably doesn't seem like a normal church, but that's necessary. You know, we had some people, anyways, but yeah.
And with you growing this whole way of serving people in need and focusing on people homeless, what has been some of the growing pains between time you talked to us and where you're at now? Because where you're at now, you're shooting through the roof as far as what you're being able to do with meals and getting these people in jobs and coaching them to be better and productive citizens. What has been the growing pains?
So the growing pains definitely is our facility, where we're at. It was good for that season. It's now the size of it's small, is now a hindrance to our growth on a Sunday morning and to the growth of all the programs that we're providing and want still more to provide. You know, our vision is to be a 24/7 church. And so we have a lot of partnerships with churches around the city, and we need and want more. So all those slots, you know, we're serving breakfast 6 days a week and breakfast and lunch 2 days a week, but we want to serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. You know, we want to have showers every day. And so as we get more partnerships in that, you know, those time slots are able to fill. So the place, the actual physical location is a hindrance in that regard, because then now you have storage problems as well. You know what I mean? So all of the logistical problems, you know, like, okay, we're getting so much stuff in, but we don't have enough storage. So now we gotta, you know, what do we do? And then, you know, people that we can serve, you know, so they already know, like, okay, it's already 100 that are in there. They have to go, you know, because there's no more room for them. So I think space is the biggest hindrance or growing pain that we're having right now.
And we are talking to Pastor Alex Fleming, the pastor of Life Restored Church. Someone listening right now, they want to know more. How can they get involved? How does that start?
You can visit liferestoredchurch.com. Mm-hmm. And you can look us up there or look us up on Facebook. We're always posting things that we have going on. On the website, you'll see a calendar towards the bottom of everything that we got going on. You know, you can email me as well, aflex7, that's AFLEX, the number 7, @gmail.com. If you have any interest in volunteering, you know, just hit us up that way. Or you can leave an email on the website as well for us, and we'll check it and get back to you.
And say that person goes through that process and they're in on day one, what can they expect to be involved with and start doing?
So yeah, as a volunteer comes in, they get in there, we're going to just kind of briefly go over, okay, this is how the scenario happens, you know, these are the things that we say. You know, we've discovered that what the Bible says, you know, a gentle word turns away wrath, and a harsh one kind of inflames it. So we have certain phrases that we say for different actions or reactions of the guests that we serve, right? Just depending on the aggression. And so, you know, they get training on that, you know, and pretty much they'll serve, love, pray, either cooking, walking around, giving out coffee, or walking around with the syrups to pour syrup, or you know, just really it's very and it's funny, it's so easy, man. More people, you know, should be doing it, you know. And so that's pretty much it, man. Praying, talking with people, and the easiest thing and the best thing and the most impactful thing, being an open ear to hearing somebody's story. That's or good. Just get something off of their chest. So it's really, you're really serving and ministering at the same time. And even if you're not saying anything and you're hearing, you're doing a whole lot more ministry than you think. Yeah,
because it's not just going through the motions. It's another day we're going to serve. It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's more personable. It's more paying attention to the details. When it comes to the community of San Antonio, before we close this first segment, how has the reaction of San Antonio here How have they reacted to what you guys are doing?
Man, in the past 2 years, I remember the first year we had a lot of support from the city. When they did a story on us, man, we had so much stuff came in that it was full up to the roof. I didn't know. It was a new job, the receiving and the intaking of that, and the same thing with the second year. San Antonio, the people, the citizens in San Antonio are very giving, very generous, and they want to support a cause that makes a difference. And so we have a lot of support, backup from the people that do know of us, from the Christian community, from the secular community, from the business community. So we're grateful, and this is a loving city with loving people, and we got all the opportunity for you to love it. So come on out to Life Restored Church.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to wrap up this first segment. We're going to come right back with some current things that you're doing and some events that you got coming up with the homeless outreach that you're doing. So don't touch that iPhone, that smartphone device. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Rockefeller's Barbershop. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will be blessed and be glad in Him. Today I want to introduce myself. My name is Rico Rodriguez at Rockefeller's Barbershop here in San Antonio, Texas, 1733 Babcock Road. My phone number is 210-782-5188. And again, we do walk-ins on Sundays. You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast on iHeartRadio. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Does your website need more traffic? Well, visit overflowcafe.com today. They make websites popular, and over 41,000 people use their service to gain more customers. They are winning at business. What about you? Visit overflowcafe.com today.
Hey guys, we are back. This is I Am Refocused podcast. You already know, man. It's Thursday. We are here at Rockefeller's Barbershop. Shout out to Rico Rodriguez, the owner, allowing us to come here every single Thursday to do this podcast recording. We are still talking to Alex Fleming. He is the pastor of Life Restored Church, and we are talking about what he's doing in the community, especially for the homeless. And he is out here to eliminate that problem, that issue in San Antonio. And he needs the community of San Antonio to help his church and what he's doing. So, Pastor, what is some of the needs currently that you need for people to just come out and support?
Of course, financially is always a big need. We could do so much with that. That also helps eliminate any storage problems.
Yeah.
So, that's what we've discovered. Restaurants that want to give food, that want to whether host 1 week of the month. Hey, we want to provide all the breakfast Monday through Thursday, boom, for 1 week. That'd be great. That would be very helpful for us. And just getting ready for this winter project, anyone that I'd say that has a property, that is pretty massive, that, hey, listen, for 5 days, you can use my warehouse. It's something open space, 4,000 to 8,000 square feet. You can use that 4 to 5 days. That would really that would put us way ahead of the game of what we're trying to do before the winter hits and it's already, getting cold out there. So I would say those three things: financial, restaurants, food, a building, and jackets, beanies, gloves, everything you need if you were outside. Chapstick, man, that's a big one. Chapstick, those warmers, the ones you just break in your hand and they keep the hands warm. So everything you would need if you were going to be living outside, you could donate.
And let's dig on that a little bit more, because when you started this, what was the first reaction of the people coming in out from the cold? Because when it gets cold at night, especially at night when the sun goes down, That's crazy. That's a tough situation.
Yeah.
What has been their reaction coming in, having a place to stay warm? And has there been a success story where someone's turned their life around and got to a better life?
Blown away was their reaction. This one guy told me, hey, this is the first time I had a decent night's sleep without having to look over my back. So, really having a decent night's sleep. I don't know if I shared, the one that really sticks with me is John Harrington. He came in and, we have to check him on intake for the overnight. And so as he comes in, he has this bottle or he has these pills, and I'm like, man, do you got a prescription for that? He's like, no. I go, man, well, I got to throw him. He's like, nah, man, and I go, okay, well then you can't stay with that. He's looking over my shoulder because we're playing It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. Okay. My favorite Christmas movie of all time is that one, and then Goodfellas. Okay. Two ends of the spectrum, but anyways. And so he's looking over watching it, and he's just ignoring me, and he's like, I really like that movie. And then he busts out the pills that he would have got by me, and then he goes right to the stage where the TVs are at, and this dude's just bawling, crying, and I don't know if it brought back a memory. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened, but that was pretty much his life in a sense. And he got off the street. He lives at apartments very nearby. He comes to church continually, and he was from the winter shelter.
See, I see a theme of your church and you leading the church. You're providing ingredients for people to move on. Because a lot of times in life, whether you're homeless or not, you get stuck. That's just human nature.
Yeah.
Speak on that. Say someone's listening, they know somebody, or, they can be stuck themselves, but touch on that topic because it is a transition. Like, you're from point A, your goal is to get to point B. Touch on that. How do people keep that commitment?
If you get stuck along the way, it's always going to be God. God is going to be God, help me, lead me out of this. It's like the prophets that were building in 2 Kings, they were building the new house of the prophets, and the guy swinging with the axe, and the axe head flew off right into the lake, and they told Elisha, and he's like, where did you lose it? And I think that's a key that everyone that's stuck needs to answer that question. Hey, where did I lose my axe head? Where did I lose my sharpness, my focus, my drive? And sometimes, see, we have a saying at our church, you have to face it to erase it. And sometimes it's hard because I have to relive some pain that I don't want to, that I'm trying to run away from. Yeah. But see, sometimes I have to face that to know the true situation of that, so that way, okay, this is not my fault, or maybe it is, but you know what? I'm not going to let that hang over me. It's a new day. I'm turning the page to a new chapter in my life. It's knowing that there's a new chapter. So when you face it, you're able to erase it, and now you can move on to the next chapter of your life. And that, I would say to anybody that is stuck or struggling, and only God can help you find that. Yeah. Only God can really show you where you lost it. And remember, the axe head swam back to him. It was a miraculous thing that happened. Yeah. And so sometimes, even though you find it, good luck trying to swim out there, dive in and try to get it. Yeah. I know where it's at. It's somewhere's over there, and God is going to bring it, that focus, that motivation, that healing back to you. Because the worst thing you can do is trust more in the power of your swing than you trust in the sharpness of the edge of your axe. And for us, that's God. That's the Spirit of God. That's the anointing of God. And that's when you know, hey, I'm doing the same motion, but no trees are falling. Nothing's falling anymore. And that's how I know I lost the edge, and whether it's stuck for whatever reason, and God gets it back for you.
I like how you put that, guys, the sharpness of the axe. That's true, because he can cut through anything. Yeah. We may be struggling no matter what. May not even be homeless, but we all got struggles. But yes, if he's the one taking the lead, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Yeah. When it comes to building your members in your church and getting them involved with the outreach, what are the building blocks that you give to them for them to execute the ministry?
It's such a part of our DNA, whether it's from the pulpit, if we start a ministry, I'm in there, I'll start it, pray to God for the processes, the procedures, run it for a while, do it. Volunteers are there helping me, and then I'll have someone take over it. Boom, and then we're off to the next thing. And so through that process, pretty much through Jesus' process, right? He did it. He exemplified it. They saw it, and then he turned them loose to do it. And the key in that is like, man, if you could get it 75% the way you want it, that's pretty good. It's not going to be 100%, and a lot of times when it's not 100%, you're going to drive yourself crazy, boom. And it's like, man, this is, and it's a tough thing. We're dealing with people with mental illness, with addiction, with brokenness, with spiritual. So, dude, if you're going for 100%, that's one thing I learned, right? Like, it's going to be this. Dude, pulling my hair out. Okay. It's not going to happen, and so just doing that, I guess, to answer your question, exemplifying it, doing it, and then it's something that our church, we're really about serving. I believe that's the essence of who Christ is, humility and servanthood. Like I tell our church, everyone loves the name of Jesus and the look, if I could say that, of Jesus, but not too many people are willing to embrace the essence of who Jesus is, that humility, that dying to yourself, that doing what you don't want to do, serving people that can't give you anything back. Like he said, hey, when you have a dinner, a banquet, invite the ones that can't pay you back. Well, that's the homeless, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so we're just, man, bottom line, we're Bible, all of us are Bible believing, and when I read the Bible, I cannot help but notice that the majority of Jesus' ministry was to the homeless, the ostracized, and the marginalized, and that the marginalized in his ministry were the affluent. Kusa and Joanna, who supported the work through their means. So Jesus was helping the down and out and the up and out, and so that's pretty much what we want to do is help both. Not just the up and out. There's always a need everywhere, but we also want to bring it back and balance it out. Let's do the down and out as well and the up and out.
I mean, it's very interesting when you said earlier in the show, you said half your congregation is homeless and the other half is not homeless.
That's straight up James right there, the book of James chapter 1, where he says if somebody is poor and dressed bad and you tell him to sit here, and somebody that's dressed better, you put him up in the front, you know what I mean? He says something to the effect, I'm paraphrasing, aren't you not a hypocrite? And so a lot of churches, you're never going to see that because it's either one or the other. So when you have that where half of them, that's the church James was talking about, you know what I mean? And when James is talking about faith, that whole deal, faith without works is dead. If you read the whole book of James, he's talking about the poor. He's saying you can't tell somebody, hey, I hope you stay warm, and not give them a jacket when they need it, and think that hey, I hope you stay warm is going to be good enough. He's like, give them actual practical things as well. And then he says, show me your faith, right, without works, and I'll show you my faith by my works. That whole context, he's talking about the homeless. We never read it like that, but man, God showed me that. I started studying. I was like, this whole context of his whole audience he's talking about is the church members, that we're dealing with homeless, and we cannot be hypocritical about it, and we're all this one body. So,
and you have a big event coming up. I don't want to miss this opportunity for you to promote it. Tell us about this winter project that you're doing, where you're bringing homeless outside. Bring them from outside to indoors where it's warm. Tell us about this project.
Well, the winter shelter, we were joking around earlier that share, if I don't say it right, the Mexican's going to start coming out. Hey, share, get to share, winter shelter. So the winter shelter, what we want to do every year, we take in homeless into our church. We take all our chairs out, and we could fit 40 homeless in our church. Like I said in the last session, our biggest thing is the size of our building.
Yeah.
So what we're looking to do is get a bigger facility to where we can house 200 to 300 homeless during the coldest nights in the city that are just around the corner. Coming up. And so because we turn away a lot of people. Yeah. That's the sad thing, because we just don't have any more room. Space. So we're trying to solidify that. That's what I said earlier, man. If you're hearing this and you have a warehouse, you have an open space facility anywhere from 4,000 to 8,000 square feet, man, you just make this happen a whole lot easier for us. So at the meantime, we're trying to raise money to solidify a larger location, and we're getting church partnership. And what we want to happen is that when the church collectively comes together, not just churches, but the church people, believers, we're able to make the biggest dent in homelessness that our city has ever known, even if it's only for the coldest times of the year. See, we can't forget that it's the church that instilled the hospitals. It's the church that put in the orphanages, and it's the church that's going to do it again with the homeless shelters. And we just we want to get back to that.
And someone right now, they want to help. Where do they go, and what can they expect on starting that process?
You can go to liferestoredchurch.com. You can leave, if you go to the contact section, you can leave an email there. Also, you could go to liferestoredchurch.com. You can go to the donate section, and it's allocated under winter shelter, and you can give electronically that way to that winter shelter project. You could email me, aflex7@gmail.com. That's AFLEX, the number 7@gmail.com. So those are the ways you can get in contact with us, and volunteer. We're looking for volunteers as well. So we have the process and the system for 40. The blessing is that it upscales, so we can upscale all our procedures, all our process to house 200 to 300 homeless, but we are going to need the manpower to do that. And so we're partnering with other churches. We're needing other churches to get on board, people to get on board, and
And before we let you go today, first of all, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come to I Am Refocused podcast. But we are once again talking Pastor Alex Fleming. Talk to the audience right now. Say they know someone that will need your services, or maybe they're in a different city, different state, and they want to, help and be a part of nonprofits.
So if somebody that needs our services, we're at 400 Arbor Place. That's 400 Arbor Place, zip code 78207. You can send them there. We're serving breakfast. Actually, right now we should be ending one of our breakfasts. So Monday through Thursday, we serve breakfast 9:30 to 10:30. Saturday, we serve breakfast at 10 a.m. and Saturday, we serve lunch at 2 p.m. And then Sunday, we serve breakfast and lunch 9:30 and 11 as well. So you could send them there, and then we'll take it from there, and we'll start working from there. If you want to get involved and help, how do I let my faith show by my works, man? Jesus said, go tell John how the lame walk, the blind see, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and to the poor the gospel is preached. He put preaching to the poor in the same category as raising the dead. What does that tell me? That tells me that ministering to the poor is a miracle. He said nothing but miracles. Blind see, deaf hear, lame walk, all of those are miracles. And then he said, and to the poor the gospel is preached. So he's telling me that that's a miracle. Guess what, church? That's a miracle that every single one of us can do. If you said, man, I want the power, I want to do miracles and raise the dead and pray over people and blind eyes are open. Well, man, you could do something right now and preach to the poor by your actions and your love and your word, and that's a miracle in itself. So I would say, man, go back to what God says. I would say, and then search your own heart. Yeah. Because God always, calls you out of your comfort zone. And so, if you're living for the Lord and you're comfortable, you may not be living all the way for the Lord, you know. And God's always doing a new thing. So just because something happens, sometimes we keep track. Oh, I remember I did this and gave this and served there back, 5 years ago, and that was enough. No, it's not, because there's always a need, and God's always moving. He's not stagnant. He's a river that flows. It's just, man, am I going to hear God? And then if I am hearing God, am I going to obey God?
That's a key phrase you just said, that he's always moving. I had a guy told me before, God cannot steer a parked car. So you need to start moving.
Yeah.
If you need a fill up, just go back to the source that has everything you need.
Amen.
He has answers to all your questions. Well, once again, I want to say thank you so much for being on the
brother,
show.
Thank you, man.
Come back anytime you have things going on with your church. We always close this podcast with this last statement. Keep God first, stay focused, and peace.